This is the Mariners POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Seattle Mariners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, there's a reason we start with a start every night, Chris Crawford.
Yeah.
Because once again, when your starting pitcher throws up a performance like that one, you're not going to win very many games. And it's happened now 3 of the last 4 nights. And It's been from your 4 guys that you trust or you should trust in these moments. And it sucks. The Mariners lose this one. What was the final score? 12-7. Offense gets some runs in the end of it, but little too late. That's about as good of a description as you can get about that.
Yeah.
Just it's. I think it's the story of this one's Logan Gilbert, though. The reason you lost this game. We're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about the offense a little bit. We'll do an unsung hero, but Chris Crawford first. Initial thoughts.
So, though this is the first loss on the road trip, maybe outside of the game on Thursday, that just feels really bad to me, right? Like, yesterday, maybe there was a little bit of the fun of playing on national TV and seeing, that they're playing in the Little League thing, and that was fun. And there's also and we talked about this on Mollywop Monday today, there is you can't win them all. And we've talked about it ad nauseum on this as well. Well, tonight was just bad. And tonight is like the first time that I've felt truly concerned about this baseball team again, right? Because you can't have starts like this. You just can't. And you can't have it back-to-back games, right? And as you mentioned, 3 out of 4 have been clunkers for this team's starting rotation. And let's be honest, too, it was almost 4 out of 4. Brian Wu had to really battle there to get things of one-run baseball. It just hasn't been very aesthetically pleasing. It just hasn't been the type of baseball that we saw on that homestand. And sure, okay, they lose 2 of 3 against Baltimore. Baltimore's clearly paying better, right? They are beating Boston. They beat the crap out of the Astros a couple of times. You lose 2 of 3 against the Mets, and you lose the first game against the Phillies, who I think are the second best team in the National League behind the Dodgers, at least in terms of pure talent. That doesn't excuse getting your butt kicked, and you've gotten your butt kicked in the last 2 games. You've gotten absolutely destroyed. 7-3 and 12-7 are not indicative of what this game was. The Mariners were out of this game by the time the 7th inning started, and it was true for the game against the Mets yesterday. Long-ish story short-ish. I'm concerned. This is the first time that I have felt concerned about the Seattle Mariners in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and it's in that 9-1 stretch, you beat some bad teams. Yes, you beat Texas, which at that time was right behind you in the wild card race, but they have since fallen off the face of the planet. So maybe hindsight, that doesn't look as good as it probably was in the moment. Then you beat the White Sox, and then you beat the who was the last series? Tampa, right?
Yeah.
Bad teams. So this is a step up in competition. That's why we were saying that this road trip for me was important, because I'm not saying you need to continue the win streak over the entire road trip, but you need to show that you're on par with these World Series contenders, which they are. I think the Mets are. I think the Phillies are. Obviously, Baltimore's not, but they're playing better ball as of late. They're still an upgrade from who you were playing at home, in my opinion, and they showed it recently. So I agree with you. I think this is kind of concerning, considering, I think a lot of things go against you. Number one, lots of rain delay stuff in the last week or so. I'll sort of give them a pass on that, although it's the same for the other team too, so I don't really do that.
Right.
The Mets, like we talked about, were a sleeping giant, and the Phillies, I just think, are really good. I personally think they're the National League favorite. I like the way they're set up right now. Their lineup's fantastic. They're pitching maybe the best in the league, the entire league. And Ranger Suarez dealt tonight. He was nasty. And really I love watching him pitch, by the way.
Yes.
Very good. Like, there's a lot of people that talk about, like, oh, he pitches, he doesn't throw. I think Ranger Suarez is the epitome of that. Like, because like he paints corners. He doesn't beat you with overwhelming stuff, and he throws some stuff that he throws a loopy curveball that you're not used to seeing that much anymore. So, yeah, but let's start with the start. Logan Gilbert. It's the reason why he lost today. Chris Crawford.
It was really bad. It was really, really bad. And it's disappointing too, because I know his start against Baltimore ended the way he didn't want, right? Because he gives up those 2 runs.
Sure.
But for 6 innings, he was fantastic, right? And this is the same thing for George Kirby. George Kirby threw 7 innings of shutout baseball and looked like he had that command we've been looking for. Even though George Kirby's results prior to last night had been fantastic, the command has not been what we wanted. And then the regression to that command yesterday, well, everything was just bad. Logan Gilbert has won some of the best swing and miss stuff today. Would you like to guess how many swings and misses he generated today?
5?
4.
Oh.
4 and 65 pitches. And the fact that he threw 65 pitches tells you just how bad he was, because he didn't come out for the 3rd inning, right? He only threw those 2 innings. And it's really easy to break down Logan Gilbert's start in a concrete fashion, right? Like you can go into it. 1st inning, gives up a couple of singles. He gets the big strike against Realmuto, and then a weak fly ball. Okay, you get through it. And then the 2nd inning, he was just awful. And everything was in the middle of the plate. It didn't matter what pitch he was throwing. It was in the middle of the plate. And, I can't blame Wilson for making him get through those 2. You know what I mean? Like, you need to get
You need 2.
You need 2, right? But boy, it was just awful. And it's disappointing because we just didn't see these types of starts from Logan Gilbert last year. We just didn't. I mean, it looked like he was going to be one of the absolute very best pitchers in baseball. And he's been really good this year for the most part. Really good. Very solid. Top of the rotation starter. But this type of start just can't happen if you're a true ace. This type of stuff just can't happen. And it's happened a little too, not to this level, of course. He's not struggled like this in a very long time. 2 innings of 6-run baseball, you just don't see it very often from any starter, right? Like you just don't see it. But this was bad. And it's a case of where, like, if he's not fooling hitters, he's just not that guy who can get through on efficiency. He just can't. Nope. So, credit to the Phillies. They've got some good offensive players there. But that doesn't mean that Logan Gilbert was anything close to good. He was awful tonight.
Yeah, that's just a team that takes advantage of mistakes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And, this pitching staff, while very good most of the time, has its occasional mistake. And I think they're so used to kind of getting away with it. I don't know if that's just because more often than not, you're playing against a team or your stuff is good enough to beat them, even if you make a mistake sort of situation. I think Brian Wu is guilty of that a lot, to be honest. But the Phillies are definitely good enough to, if you leave one out over the plate, they're going to mash the bejesus out of it.
And they play at a park that you can take advantage of that as well, too, right? But this was a case where it wasn't just like park inflated. Like I was taking a look at the Savant page to see if there were any home runs. There were lots of hard contact. The only one that was even remotely debatable of the home runs was Trey Turner, but that leaves 18 out of 30 parks. JT Realmuto's homer would have been out 30 out of 30 parks. It just was a bad day, and hopefully he bounces back. And I won't be surprised at all if he bounces back, especially since he'll be pitching in Seattle rather than Philadelphia. But this was bad. This was ugly. And all we can do is react to tonight, guys, just to make that clear.
We're not saying the sky is falling and this team's not making the playoffs or anything like that. But
sky looked pretty chickeny today, though. I won't lie to you. It looked pretty chickeny, and they really need Logan Gilbert to pitch better than this.
Yeah, they need both Logan Gilbert and George Kirby and Luis Castillo, to be honest, to pitch better than they have in the last week. So hopefully this is all just hey, we all had our bad start at the same time. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's exactly
get it out of the way.
If
that's what you want to do, by the way, like if you want to view that as get the clunkers out of the way, you can do that, right? Like, because Logan Gilbert had pitched fantastic in the last couple. George Kirby beyond fantastic in the last couple.
Yeah.
But tonight was crap. Tonight was crap, and I almost said a different word than crap.
Okay. Well, let's move on before you say something different than that. We'll come back, talk about the offense a little bit. And then I want to ask about a couple decisions regarding the bullpen on the Mariners postcast after we give some quick love to our sponsors for today's show.
Sounds great.
This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Preseason's already heating up, and college football is not far behind.
Week 0, baby. Whether you've got your eyes on big-name quarterbacks or breakout running backs, PrizePicks makes it easy to get in the game. Doesn't matter if you're super excited for one of the superstars like a Saquon Barkley, a Josh Allen, or if you're looking for more of a sleeper, if you think Torrey Horton can be that guy who sneaks into fantasy relevance, you can do it all on PrizePicks. It's a total game manager. Even when one of your picks misses, you can still double your money because there's just so many different ways you can play with PrizePicks.
One word, who's getting underdrafted, Chris Crawford?
That's a good one. I would probably say Torrey Horton. I think that guy's going to get a lot of targets in this offense.
Great. Download your PrizePick app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB to get your $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. PrizePicks, run your game. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday, so mark it on your calendars for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches.
That's right. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, you're eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. So like for division winners, I'd be taking a look at I bet you there's some great odds for the NFC South because no one in that division.
I was going to say Atlanta is my pick.
Why not? You could pick Atlanta. I think they're the favorites, but I think anybody outside of New Orleans can win that division, right? Yeah. So not a bad way to hedge your bet a little bit. Maybe Bryce Young takes that step forward and you get a chance to make a little shekels that way. This is definitely the day to do it. Bet responsibly, but this is a day where you can take those long shots for sure.
Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. Welcome back to the Mariners Postcast. Anderson Hurst, Chris Crawford to my left. We go live right for every single Mariner baseball game. Please like the video if you haven't already. Love hanging out with you guys after every game, even if it's a stinker like this one. And they are going through some stinkers right now. Hopefully, like Chris said earlier in the episode, just getting them all out of the way now. And then, but also good news, Houston Astros got shellacked tonight as well.
Beautiful. Houston Astros getting shellacked. Last time I checked, the Orioles were beating the Red Sox, but now they're up by 5. So this should be a day where you don't lose anything. And the two most important teams for you right now, I think, are the Boston Red Sox and the Texas Rangers. Houston Astros for sure are those two most important teams. So, yay.
Yeah, I guess. If you want to take silver linings and if you're Dr. Positivity, then
and it's
go ahead.
That type of line, right? That's a real thin one.
It's more like the fake silver that you can easily just peel off. That kind
cubic zirconium lining is what we've got going on right now.
Let's talk a little bit about the offense. I mean, they score 7 runs. You get a couple bigger days from Julio early in the game. Mitch Garver has 2 hits, including a home run. Cole Young hits a home run, and JP
clobbered
gets 2
that
hits.
thing.
So, anything to say about the offense?
Too little, too late. First 6 innings, this offense stunk. It absolutely stunk. And like you mentioned, Ranger Suarez pitched well today. Yeah. You can't strike out 10 times against Ranger Suarez.
He's not a strikeout pitcher.
You can't. That's a bad day at the offense, right? And you don't draw any walks. Usually a guy who's around the zone. If not for Jordan Romano, the ghost of Jordan Romano, because he just sucks out loud right now.
Him and his fake hair.
Oh, he's so bad. And Nolan Hoffman, congratulations on making your debut. You should have just left one up to Big Dumper so you could have been a part of history. But outside of those two guys, the Mariners offense just didn't do enough. They just did not do enough. And, it was nice to see the Julio double early on. And then Eugenio Suarez has a atrocious at bat, unfortunately. He also singles. And unfortunately, Josh Naylor gets the double very, very late. This is the definition of a too little, too late offensive effort. It's great to score 7 runs. Got to put your team in it more. Like, you have to score those 7 runs earlier and you feel a lot better. And then you get a chance to use some of your high leverage guys instead, right? Like, not all touchdown games are equal. Not all games where you can say this is a football score are equal. This offense for 6 innings was really bad. It's great that they scored some late, but not good enough.
Yeah, just compare it to Friday night's Mets game, right? Where your starter is also bad. You give up a lot of runs, but you're constantly threatening to keep it a close game offensively. And we're not blaming this loss on the offense, right? Because, Logan Gilbert can't do what he did tonight and you expect to win, right? But if you are trying to win these types of games, the offense needs to do more. So just comparing those two games, because if you that's what you're talking about is keeping it close and getting Mania out of the game early, which he did on Friday, and you weren't able to do that with Suarez tonight.
Yeah, and the thing is too, it's obviously more about Gilbert, but I want to see this offense piece together a little more. You know what I mean? You score a run here, you score 2 runs here, you score a run there. You get yourself back into this thing. The only time they were ever really in this thing is 7-4, right? And they're not really in it. But you do get back into it. And I know you want to ask me about the decision to go to Casey Legamina for the 2nd inning. I'll just, I assume that's what you wanted to ask.
Yeah, let's go to that, because hold on, I'll give you context. You get your rally in the top of the 7th. Casey Legamina had pitched the bottom of the 6th, had given up a run. Had already pitched, I think, 23 pitches in that inning or something like that. It was over 20. You rally for 4 runs to make it 7-4. It's a 3-run game at this point, and you go back to Casey Legamina to try and not use as much bullpen. Just your thoughts. I'll react after.
I really didn't like it, and I'm not just being a Dan Wilson skeptic here or a hater, if you want to go the strongest term here. I just really didn't like it because I thought that showed a lack of care of winning this baseball game. And I will point the counterpoint here, of course, is that Seattle Mariners need to save some bullpen guys, because Bryce Harper is not starting for the Mariners. It'd be fun if it was. I could get that guy some raw milk real quick. But if Bryce Miller is starting tomorrow and we have no idea what's going to happen, right? You have to have some bullpen guys ready to roll. And Carlos Vargas throws the 3 innings. He can't be your unsung hero. He's just your hero, right?
He's your hero.
So I get that you want to get some multiple innings, but when you get within 3, which is, in my personal opinion, at the least close adjacent, not going to one of your even medium leverage relievers there is disappointing, especially with letting him face Harper for a second time. To me, was really a white flag and then some. I don't have a white flag, but this is pretty white, so this can count as the white flag that I'm waving. I didn't like it. And again, I tried to think about this when it happened. Are you just that skeptical of every decision Dan Wilson makes, or are you just thinking, objectively? Are you trying to be an unobjective person? Are you trying to think of this as what's best for the team? And I was thinking of it where what's best for the team. Casey Legamina's pitching there does not even come close to helping you win this game.
Sure. And this is where hindsight can be 20/20. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, because I generally agree with you. I think he should have been out at that point. But it's a domino effect, because if you maybe had gone to your higher leverage arm in that situation and you keep it close, you're not facing the whatever the guy's name is that's made his major league debut in the 9th inning,
Hoffman,
right? And you score 3 more runs, right? So so you keep it close here, but then you're going against a harder reliever there. Yes, you definitely want to give yourself the better chance to win that night. Plus, you have to think about the rest of the series. And I love what you said about Bryce Miller. So you do need to save some arms. I don't absolutely what is going on decision for Dan Wilson. I could see the thought process, but definitely I would have hoped for a little more fight personally.
Yeah.
And I'm just usually not a fan of, and you've mentioned this phrase before, managing for games that aren't the one that you're in right now.
100%. Yeah, no, that's perfectly put. Like, there is just too much non-emphasis on what's happening right in front of the Seattle Mariners, right?
Yeah.
Like, Casey Legumina has had some good moments for this team too. I don't want to completely, you take a look at his ERA of 5.83. It's a little misleading to me because it's based mostly on just a couple of real S shows, right? Like, there have been decent moments for Casey Legumina. And this is going to be the perfect game for people to say, why didn't you get another reliever? Why didn't you get another reliever?
Sure.
I get it. I totally get it. I just don't have the same feelings about the bullpen everyone else does, right? Like, it's not the best bullpen in the world, but I don't look at this bullpen and say, oh, this is so much clearly worse than other contenders either, right?
Yeah, right.
I'll take what they have at the top, and I think there's enough good guys in the middle there for this bullpen to keep the Seattle Mariners in games. These last couple of nights have not been a great example of it, though, right?
But they haven't been used right, Chris.
No, they haven't, right? And that's the thing, too. Like, you're seeing Jackson Kowar pitch, right? You're seeing Casey Legumina pitch. You're not seeing Bizzardo. You're not seeing a ton of Gabe Spire. You're not seeing the high-leverage dudes, right? Because there are 4 guys that, unless you are just a hater of haters, that you have to have confidence in. You have to have confidence in Munoz. You have to have confidence in Brash. You have to have confidence in Gabe Spire. And I think Bizzardo's in that conversation now, too.
I'd throw Ferguson in that, too.
And then you could throw Ferguson. That's 5 good guys. Yeah. Now, is 6 through 8 good enough? Probably not. Probably not. Do you know how many teams have good enough 6 through 8?
No one.
You saw the Philadelphia Phillies today. They clearly don't have good 6 through 8. It's just... It's frustrating that you didn't go to one of those 5 tonight after you get within 3. But I will say the chances of you winning this game were still slim, right? It's still not a great chance to win when you're down by 3 with only 9 outs to play, 6 outs to play with, excuse me. But there's also just what the image creates, what the image of saying, I am willing to keep Casey Legumina in this baseball game says. And if I was a player, I'd be kind of frustrated by it.
I almost wonder if you had flipped Legumina and Vargas. Like, I almost trust Vargas more, and not like I don't know. And like, again, this is very hindsight.
100%. And credit to Vargas. Also, thank you, Philadelphia Phillies, for being so aggressive and not letting Casey or Carlos Vargas have the issues that he usually does with throwing quality strikes. But like, Legumina was bad. And having him face Harper a second time in particular was, to me, the ultimate white flag.
I'm going to go unsung real quick, and then I'll ask for you if you want to do one. I'm going to do unsung villain, Randy Arozarena. He's been pretty bad lately. I don't know if I originally, when the team's hot, I really liked him in the leadoff spot. I don't know if I like him there now. It's again, I am I'm the type of fan who goes up and down with the team, right?
Of course.
When they're doing well, I'm like, leave it, don't touch it. We're awesome. We're going to win the World Series, yada, yada, yada. But then when things aren't going great, like they haven't been recently, I want to change it. Like, I'm just an urgent thing. Like, let's fix it. Don't try and ride it out, especially at this point in the season.
Right.
So I don't know, but I just want to know your thoughts.
Yeah, I think you got to consider the switch.
Who would you put?
That's the problem right now, because I don't want Crawford back at the top of the lineup.
You consider Cole Young?
I would consider Cole Young. I'd consider Julio too.
I would do Julio personally.
I'd consider Julio hitting at the top of the lineup as well. It's a tough one. You know who my unsung hero is? And I was thinking about this. My unsung hero is the 9-game winning streak before this, because here's the thing. You can't just rely on the 9-game winning streak. But let's just be completely honest, Anders.
Right.
Where the hell is this team if it's a 5-4 homestand? A 5-4 homestand is pretty good. You go 5-4, you go 90-72 on the year. That's pretty darn good, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking about 5-4, this team is battling for the third wildcard spot right now. Battling for the third wildcard spot. Instead of being, it's pretty damn likely that this team's going to be playing in the postseason, right? Now, how good enough that is your mileage may vary, right?
Yep.
But thank God they did have that 9-game winning streak, because it still gives you everything to play for. Everything. Thank God, because they have played absolute abhorrent baseball. I had to censor myself again, and all the words that came in my mind had 4 letters in them. Like
Okay,
every
go through.
single one of them. It's crazy how fortunate not fortunate. You aren't fortunate just to win 9 games in a row, right? Like, you have to play well to win 9 games in a row. But boy, oh boy, would they be in trouble. Even a 6-3 homestand, you're talking about a little bit of trouble here, right? That's a 3-game difference. So thank God that they played so well at home, and they need to start kicking ass again at home when they get back. There's no variance allowed anymore. You've got to just beat the crap out of teams at home and hold your own on the road.
And beat the crap out of bad teams. Because, like, I'll give you a little leeway on this road trip because you played 2 very talented teams that are going to, like I said, World Series contenders. You have to beat the bad teams, though. You absolutely have to, because kind of before this whole thing, we were like, yeah, the Mariners kind of play down to their competition, but then in big series, they come up clutch.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, if you're going to do this now, if you're going to lose to bad teams, you have to beat lose to good teams, then you have to beat the bad teams.
There's no question about it. And, somebody brought this up and I meant to mention it. And by the way, thanks again to everybody who showed up, subscribe, all that stuff. Every time you feel really bad about this team, something like the Detroit series happens, right? Like, the low of lows was getting swept by the Yankees there, and you're just feeling awful, and you cannot wait for that. Instead, how did we feel after that Detroit series? Why the hell do we not get to play more baseball games, particularly for Julio Rodriguez, right? Because it was like, he's finally back.
We went from please give us the break to please don't give us the break.
Absolutely. And I remember, like, our second or third series that we did, Anders, was the series against the Padres after they played. Maybe it's just after the Yankees, the Mariners are just playing well, right? But, like, there's something about this team that when they pull you away, all of a sudden they pull you back in, right?
I'll say conversely, when they pull you in, everyone's excited, and they have this road trip.
Stuff like this road trip happens. There's no question about that as well. So I just want some consistency, right? I just want good, wholesome, well-played baseball. You can still win this series. You still got a chance, right? You don't have the pitching advantage tomorrow because you don't know what's going on. But, I think Castillo will bounce back. I think that things are going to get better. But boy, oh boy, these last couple of games have just been so ugly.
Yep. Really appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. We'll talk tomorrow. I believe it's another 3:40 first pitch. Let me double check. Bryce Miller against Christopher Sanchez, who is kind of a Cy Young contender this year. So I would not be surprised. Another lefty too. So, Mitch Garver's actually been hitting well. So I'm not even saying like that, but please.
I have to say this real quick. Josh Naylor needs a day off.
Yeah,
Josh Naylor
I agree.
Needs a day off. Yeah, let's.
You can say that. You could say that about Gino. You could say that about Randy. It's not that's going to happen because there's no one to play those positions. But
and you can't play Luke Raley right now, obviously. So
he played in right field today.
But tomorrow is a perfect day for Josh Naylor to get a day off.
Give Donovan Solano first base.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, 100%. And Garver's going to have to play all 3. He'll catch on Thursday, I'm sure, right? Or excuse me, Wednesday, I'm sure. But you got to play better.
All right, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Really appreciate it. Mariners dropped the first game of the Phillies series 12-7. We'll talk to you guys then. Really appreciate everyone coming to hang out. Please like the video if you haven't already. Share it with your friends. This is the place where I think you should get your Mariners post-game content. I think we do a pretty good job. Ty and Colby have you covered during the day. Myself and Chris Crawford are the ones that got it right after the game. And we help kind of put things in perspective a little bit. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. And, we got the chat with us to kind of help us out. So really appreciate everyone coming out tonight. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Last word, Chris Crawford.
Just a quick 30 seconds on Victor Robles, real quick. I'm sorry. I knew I had to bring it up.
Go ahead.
Some of you guys are insane. Some of you guys are absolutely insane. Don't throw bats at people. I feel terrible for Victor Robles. Terrible. I lost my mom a couple of years ago. I lost my stepdad 3 months later. It's a horrible time. I feel terrible for Victor Robles. Defending him for what he did is absolutely insane. It is insane. You can understand where anger came from, defending throwing a bat at a human being, and you can say whether or not he was trying. Folks, what do you think he's doing? He's not flipping his bat, right? He's throwing the bat in the direction of the pitcher. I love Victor Robles. I hope that he thinks, and his apology was perfect. Don't throw bats at people, and do not defend people who throw bats at people.
Yeah. I couldn't say it any better.